Right, hello everybody and welcome to the big one. It is the Pony Club Championships vlog, my first stay away show of the year. 2 boys for the first time ever, both competing, and I'm very excited. I'm going to give you a very brief rundown of what each day looks like this week so you know what to expect in this vlog, and probably the next vlog is probably going to be a 2-parter. So today is Tuesday. I'm heading up there, as you can see, not to compete but actually to host a Q&A all about how to grow your social media following online, how to stay safe on social media, which is kind of surreal. I've been going to the champs pretty much every summer that I've qualified for nearly a decade now, and the fact that I would be going to give a talk there is ridiculous. I'm so excited. And then tomorrow both boys come up and they get ready. They're going to stable. Star has a team show jumping competition before the main Chairman's Cup that he also qualified for. Thursday will be trot up and dressage for both boys in the Chairman's Cup. Friday will be show jumping and Saturday will be cross country. So it is going to be action packed. I don't know how I'm going to fit it all in. It's going to be busy, but for now I've got my sushi and I've got my coffee. Let's get going. We've got a healthy lunch for once, Flo. Good choice. We've made it! So this is probably where we're going to be parking the lorry and basically camping for the rest of the week. There's lots of people here already. And you can see it's all divided up by area. Oh, I hadn't noticed that. Area 15. See if we can spot Area 12. Big up Area 12. Best seats in the house for Area 12.
Healthy lunch brigade.
What's your review so far? Have you had any yet?
Yes, lovely. Salmon poke bowl. Delicious.
The quality content people all signed up for. Started. As you guys know, this was the 2 PM talk all about social media. We have a very exciting edition of Piggy March. Thank you for joining us, Piggy. So I guess the thing that all of us have in common is that we are all either in the Pony Club now or we have been in the Pony Club at some point. So that seems like a good place to kind of start.
Anyway, so yes, very much a big part of the Pony Club. It was a lot of my growing up for as long as it could have been, actually. There was nothing serious or any dreams of being an event rider, I can assure you, for many years. And Pony Club was just about having a great time, really enjoying your ponies. I did get to Pony Club Championships twice. At the end, I think I was 17 and 18 when I got to Pony Club Champs. I don't think I'd done anything there before, so it's great seeing a lot of young guys here at this week. But my first time there, I fell off and had a lot of show jumps down and wasn't a good part of the team. But the next year we went, at 18, we won as a team and I was second individual. So I've got lots of very fond memories.
Very much. And then what about you guys? Obviously you're still in the Pony Club today, you're competing here this weekend. What about some of the opportunities that you've had through being part of the Pony Club? I'd love to hear about them.
So through the Pony Club I have been able to have opportunities like go to the Royal Windsor Horse Show and compete at Burghley, which is an opportunity that you wouldn't have if you weren't part of Pony Club because it is so difficult to get to places like Burghley.
So as a lot of you will know, this talk was also going to touch on social media. And actually it'll be really good now that we've got Piggy with us to kind of learn about the difference between how a professional uses social media to how Ella and Molly, who obviously social media is a large part of what they do, use social media. So sorry to put you on the spot, but we'd lovely to know about using social media. Obviously you've launched Piggy TV and what social media is for you as a professional rider.
Oh gosh, I'm probably actually quite an interesting one to speak about that because, to be honest, I've hated social media in my life, and I was so glad I didn't have it growing up or being younger. And And I think it's a very good thing now used in the right way, but it can be so worrying for the young now, and I think paints such a false picture.
I started sharing content on social media because I felt like I had the back end of a rough season. I had just missed out on selection for like under 18 teams. It hadn't gone my way at big events, and I felt nobody else was talking about the bad bits, and I was going, does that mean they don't happen? But they do happen. And it was that nerve-wracking taking that leap of deciding to be completely honest and transparent and share the good bits and the bad bits, and obviously it's a risk because you do open yourself up to the odd person who perhaps doesn't know the full story, leaving comments that are difficult. Two people who are obviously very well versed in the world of social media, Ella and Molly. So talk to me about how you guys got into social media in the first place, and whether there was a moment where you realised this is more than just a bit of a hobby, when it started to take off a little bit.
So we started our YouTube channel, Molly and Ella Show Jumping, at the start of lockdown. Obviously COVID was going on and we were all stuck at home, so we thought, oh, what better to do? We can utilise the horses being at home, we can take loads of videos. But yeah, so we started it then.
So obviously Pony Club is for people up to age about 25, so a lot of people sat here today are probably wondering what direction they want to sort of take their life, and obviously you guys are both in very different industries. So it'd be really interesting to hear some advice, first of all from Piggy, what advice you would give to somebody who wanted to leave Pony Club and become more serious with their riding.
So that's stripy bag flow. Not sweets, they're mixers. I'm holding them for her. Getting the stuff ready to set up a stable.
I think I'd have brought some horsey clothes.
And some muscle.
It's difficult.
What just happened? I just got home and I'm still high-key processing this whole afternoon, but the behind the scenes down low is that I found out 5 minutes before I got on that stage that we were going to be joined by Piggy March and that I was going to be asking her questions, of which I obviously had nothing prepared. All of my questions centered around social media. So what you just saw, and if you saw me looking slightly frazzled, was me thinking on the spot. But it was amazing that so many people came to our chat. I'm sure a lot of people came for the last minute news that Piggy was going to be joining, but nonetheless I'd convinced myself no one was going to turn up. So to see so many faces there was awesome. I had a great time, but yeah, the nerves of sitting next to one of your top eventing idols with nothing prepared because you found out just as you were going on stage. That's something else. I don't think I'm ever going to find a university presentation scary ever again. Anyway, home now, and I have a mammoth packing job ahead of me to get ready to leave here at 5:30 tomorrow morning with both boys, ready for 5 days of stay away, and my lorry is currently empty. So let's do that. It's not even 5 AM yet, aka it's way too early, but it's Champs competing day number 1. This is the earliest Mum's ever been out on the yard. That big star disagrees. He's like, what are you talking about? And just like that, we're ready to leave. Okay, made it. That journey was not as straightforward as it needed to be, and I've now got 15 minutes to run and walk the course for the first round of show jumps. Basically, this morning's gonna be quite manic. I think I said this is Star's extra show jumping class day because he qualified for the show jumping as well as the Chairman's Cup eventing. So both his rounds are this morning, like before midday. So we're basically just gonna get that done, and then afterwards we're gonna set up the stables and all of that. We set up a day stable yesterday for Atti to go in during the day today, if that makes sense. Basically, it's gonna be a rush morning, but this afternoon, hopefully I'll have more time to chill, talk to you, show you the setup. But for now, I've gotta run. Right, course is walked. Star saying hi to the camera. It was actually alright. I'd say it's quite big, but it's friendly. The fences are nice, Star. We're gonna enjoy it. However, Atti has gone and Mum very kindly, while I was walking across, put him in his day stable, and as you can see, Star's not that happy about that. Star misses his friend. I could hear Atti whinnying like a minute ago, so this could all be very, very interesting. Getting the stables ready. Somebody's not very impressed by his day digs because he can't see his friend. Better see him later, mate. Okay? Do you mind? It's raining grey hair. Pin. I've got it, but that's not perfect. There's a pin. How many people does it take to tie a pre-tied stock? I think more than 2. After all your years in the pony club, you might think you knew how to do this. It normally is pre-tied, but I washed it and it untied itself in the water. Let's just pin it and... I'm gonna look silly. I'm gonna look like someone from the Georgian times. I'm not gonna pass judgment until we've seen it finished. But it's just a knot. It's just a big ball. That's awful. I'm grateful that you're helping. Marks out of 10, please. Have a look under a jacket. Oh, it's fine under a jacket. It gives flounce. Lastminute.com. I didn't know where my normal number rib's gone. So this is my spare one, which is fine for today, but obviously... Oh, this yeah, it's fine. Slot for the number's a bit small on that one, isn't it? Yeah, not for the rest of the weekend, because I need 2, so it's not good. I think the fact that he's been a little bit excitable has actually really helped him there. I'm not saying we'll do the same tomorrow in the dressage, but he made that feel easy. Like yeah, skipping over. It's a lovely round. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. It's coming for a bit of a rest in the shade while we wait to walk the course for round 2. Let's hope the second round is as lovely as the first.
Carter. Up to clear up south. There for Clay Carter. Very few double clears of the day.
Day 1 done. And he jumped a double clear. It couldn't really have gone any better. There's no individual placings because it's just team show jumping, so literally couldn't ask for any more than him doing that. I was a bit like, oh, has he jumped all his clear rounds now? Can he save any for the Chairman's Cup? Because obviously that counts as an individual. But yeah, really pleased. I don't think there'll be any placings for the team, but for me it was just about getting out, warming him up. He definitely was quite like taken by the atmosphere today, so it's nice that we got to go and do a show jumping round before doing a dressage test tomorrow. Hopefully he'll have got it a bit out of his system, but yeah, super chuffed. I thought I rode all right in the first round. Thought my riding went a little bit downhill in the second round, but he was just jumping out of his skin, helping me out, being mega. And there weren't that many double clears, or there haven't been so far, it's still going on, so to kind of come away with a double clear is that. Couldn't ask for any more. So pleased with him. And bring on the rest of the day, getting everything organised and sorted ahead of the Chairman's Cup starting tomorrow. Okay, so Mum has bought whatever's in there, I don't really know, because she thinks it's going to be revolutionary for stay-away shows, but between us, genuinely not a word of exaggeration, we've probably given close to 20 minutes trying to get into it, so if she's made a breakthrough, then let's see the big reveal and see if it was worth it. What even is that?
It's going to revolutionise stay-away shows. It's a must-have accessory.
Sure looks like it.
It's quite underwhelming now.
Yeah, what is it? Half an hour for that?
It's just, so you can hang that over the temporary stable and put your saddle on it, so you have to put it on the floor. And then this is an expanding rail to hang everything else on, like head collars, your rug.
Expanding?
I think so. Maybe it's not.
You've been conned.
No, it says expandable. Rug rail. Rug rail, that's its official title.
Great.
Well, you'll next see it outside the stable, in use.
Stable ready for Atti. Who is going to be right next to Star? All the kit. And yeah, Star right next door.
Probably thinks it's going somewhere more exciting. Another stable. Is it getting another stable? It's like, no.
Not really.
I know. I don't blame you. Good boy. Good boy. And your friend's going to come and join you in this one. That's good news, isn't it?
Oh, he can't see his friend.
We might go. We might just go.
Well, at her, yeah, I suppose if Atti knows he's there. Getting a little escort down to the lorry parking, which is new. Never been that official and organised before. Right, hello everybody. Let's ignore the fact that I look like I have jumped 2 show jumping rounds and spent the whole day in the heat around the horses. That's because I have, but we are out on the cross-country course. We're not sure if they've kind of finalised it yet, but we're giving it a little walk and then we're going to come back and check it all I always like to walk kind of championship or long format courses at least twice, if not 3 times, just to like really get my eye in. So this is just a very quick glance, and then we'll be back to look at minute markers. So far, it's all right. We've only done the first 6 fences though. Big question at the first combination 4-5 on technicality, and I don't feel too nervous about that because I feel like that's quite a strong suit for my 2 boys, but obviously, don't know. I'm expecting there to be more combinations, of course, that I get more nervous about, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's been a warm afternoon. I haven't really caught up much this afternoon because there's been a lot of getting things sorted. The boys are not thrilled to be neighbours. They get very upset when the other one goes out, so we're hoping that night of calm will sort that, because obviously that is the last thing we need before dressage tomorrow. But apologies to anyone who saw me walking Atti around the showground earlier. I think he made his presence very clear. Good morning, day 2 is upon us, aka Trot Hut day and Dressage day. I've been over at the stables all morning, so I haven't picked up my camera yet, but if you'd asked me 2 hours ago, I would have said that this was one of the days I was most excited for. I feel like I've been working really hard on this test, and I'm hoping that the judges maybe see that. Also, the last time that Atti and Star did a dressage test where they were judged kind of against each other, years ago. So was feeling kind of excited to see how that went. However, this morning has thrown a slight spanner in the works. Always happens with horses. When we signed up for this competition, I specifically asked for the boys to be stabled far away. We haven't done a stay away show with both of them together before, but occasionally at shows they've been a little bit clingy, so I feel like it's easier to just kind of mitigate against that. Better to mitigate a problem than allow one to exist. Anyway, when we turned up, they had allocated our stables kind of together next to each other, and I thought, oh, I really don't want to be difficult. They've got so much to handle and we don't know if they're going to be badly behaved, so I'll just suck it up. And they were good as gold yesterday when Atti was in his stable and Star was show jumping, and then Star went into his stable for the first time after that, and they were a little bit unsettled, and I was thinking, oh, is this going to be an issue? So I took them both out, you know, hand walked them yesterday, and Star was one I was most worried about because I feel like he's very sensitive, and he seemed to be getting better and better, so I thought, fine, let's just leave him overnight, they'll chill and they'll be alright for tomorrow. They have not, in fact, chilled. They have just grown closer and closer, and when Mum took them out to hang graze them this morning when I was skipping them out, they were both screaming the place down. Star didn't want to eat, he was kind of jogging. Yeah, it's really not been going to plan. And also on dressage day, and I'm like, do I now go and say and try and get them moved stables? But even if I did, they probably wouldn't settle in time for a dressage test. Do I just try and ride through it? I'm really conflicted. So I'm gonna get on Star and just walk him around and see how he's feeling. But yeah, I'm really trying to like keep it together, because I feel like when you've worked so hard, the most annoying thing would be to kind of almost have thrown it away, like even before we've started, on like a management thing. But it's what it is. Fingers crossed that it's going to be okay. I'm on board Star, and the good news is this kind of newfound separation anxiety doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. When I'm on him, I just had to practice some of the dressage movements, and I think that's a big thing because he's such a sensitive horse, and this test he's going to do today is going to be in an atmosphere unlike any he's done a dressage test in before. So the fact that he's kind of keeping his cool when I'm riding him, at least in here, is a good sign. It's going to be difficult to handle by the looks of things. Number 1 platter on plaiting duty. What would you do without a super broom? We're having a sort of, I guess it's sort of brunch, isn't it? Tea and a bacon bap, and we have a very exciting new addition to the event crew. Where? You're back! You've not been on an event vlog for a long time. What have you got to say to everyone who's probably missed you so much?
Hello, I missed you too.
Having fun?
So much fun.
I've set Dan up with his first job of the Stay Away show, which is making look very difficult.
I'm not okay. Such fun.
You've been here 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, this is on a time wrap, so I can say anything. That isn't going to be.
No. Well, maybe it is.
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, you don't watch them, so you'll never know.
I actually do watch them. I've watched all of your vlogs recently. Ask me any question about any of your vlogs.
Oh, that's so sweet. I told Dan that he would definitely need a wheelbarrow to carry this haylage because he's going to be walking for like 5 minutes and he's insisted he absolutely can do it. In fact, he offered to carry 2. You're saying that now, but when you've been walking for 5 minutes, you're going to regret that.
I'm gonna be just fine.
You're not. I've got 15 minutes to slap on some makeup using this mirror, which is not very clean, so that I look like Trot Up ready. So, you know, watch out, beauty vloggers, I'm coming for you. No. No. This is me ignoring. Backwards is not. Not on me. Not on me. Hello, so we have come down to the Trot Up area for our Trot Up, and I'll get down to pan round in a second and show you how busy it is. It's quite busy, which could be interesting with Star. Star is literally mind blown, so we've stood in a nice quiet corner for now. We've got them together, hoping that they're going to behave, but I'm sort of expecting a little bit of a show, so stay tuned for that one. I think their numbers might be possibly wrong. I'm just going to take a second to say I must have misheard the grand jury's instructions because I thought they told me to run down the right hand side, and so that means I end up turning both boys like inside me, which I know is not like what you're meant to do. I'm meant to turn them outside, so yeah, apologies about that. Very nearly got a little bit excited with Star. I think that probably blew his mind a little bit, but we've survived it, and now it's time to start thinking about dressage.
Those combinations changed then. They were going round, she said that's what.
Hello, we really have not caught up much today because it has been so busy, but Trot Up is completed and we are moving on to dressage. Atti is up first in not very long. I want to be on in 10 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think I said earlier, I've been working actually quite hard on this test. I've had some really good advice from Kylie in my sessions, so I'm hoping that at least one of them like behaves, because I've been a little bit attached, so that I can see whether the judges kind of like reward me for the work I've been putting in. Like, it would just be positive to know that when I feel like I'm improving, it's actually improving. But we'll see. It's a difficult test. I'm quite happy with this order. Atti's up first, so he's going to be less reactive to the atmosphere. Whereas Star is likely to be a little bit more. Is it Dan? Is he being?
Dan's here.
Is he being annoying?
Actually, I did think Dan was there.
He is.
What was I doing?
You were tapping on the door.
I didn't even know he was there. But something made me look, yeah. I thought he sat behind me.
Yeah, for Star this is going to be a big atmosphere challenge and a big technical challenge, but he's got it in him. I just don't know if it's at the surface yet. We'll find out.
Let's be positive, Flo.
Let's be positive.
Hey, you were asleep. You'll be back soon and then it's your turn. Oh, your best friend's disappeared. Big question at the moment is Atti going to stop talking while he's in the dressage test? We're just saying we're going to do a pre-test prediction, and then we're going to revisit it afterwards and see if we amend the score in any way. You're going to go first, Dan.
It's going to be a 33.6. You heard it here first.
Is it?
Yes.
Gosh, that'd be brilliant.
Confident.
I'm going to say 35. Look, I have to say, having watching him now, he's got real oomph. So I may have to revise that score because he's looking pretty good, in my humble opinion. But what do I know? Bringing the presents. Before he gets a bit bored. Come on, you're looking really good.
First dressage test voiceover of the vlog, and you'll have heard from Mum there that we've been trotting around the arena for quite a while, like 3 times around, but I've obviously cropped that out because that's just boring to watch. However, I could feel Atti getting a little bit bored, falling a little bit asleep on me, and I kept trying to do transitions, really rev him up, and as you can see, I took it slightly too far because this was then his reaction. He was like, "Oi, leave me alone, I'm giving you a nice active trot, what more could you possibly want?" And obviously the second we trotted away, the bell went. So I was thinking I probably don't have time to trot around the arena again, but at the same time we've just given a very clear exhibit that we're tense. So I was going to pop in a little circle, find our feet again and get going. My analysis of why that happened, because you know that's like the complete opposite of Atti, is that with Star back in the stables and then being a little bit attached, everything is like heightened for him, which means he's doing some lovely work and he is quite uphill and nice, but he's also a lot more like, hey, you know, leave me alone, let me just do what I gotta do. So I'm not like too bothered about that, but it's not the best display for the judges right before the start. Our entry I thought was good, and the judge at C definitely agreed because we got an 8, which is always nice to see. It does mean, however, that you can only go downhill from there, basically. So I have the comments from both the judge at C and judge E, so I can give you some of their thoughts, where they agreed, where they disagreed, some of their scores. For example, they both gave me a 6.5 for this 15-metre circle, with the judge at C saying that it was rather large, which is fair. It's really weird, but I hadn't actually practiced this test in a proper 20 by 60. We don't have one at home, we're just on grass, so I'd sort of like set it up roughly, had a little run through, and then yeah, when I was in there I was thinking, oh wow, a 15-metre circle that's not in a 20 by 40, how's that work? So the test was quite thick and fast. You could see we went into straight from the circle into the medium trot and then straight into the leg yield. I knew our leg yields would be lacking, and we got a 5.5 from one of the judges and 6 from the others. It was the sort of worst mark that I got in the whole test. And then I got a 6.5 for the transition to canter from the judge at E, but a 7 from the judge at C. So they had a little bit different opinions in that. That's some medium canter down there, although I feel like it's harder to see from this angle. And I'm about to go into a 20-metre circle with with a give and retake over the centre line, which I got a 6.54 from the judge at C, and I can't see, oh, and a 7 from the judge at E. So again, like similar marks, and all these are good marks because this test is basically a 2-star test. The only difference is that you are allowed to rise or sit, which for me makes a big difference. I feel I do a much better test in rising trot. So to be getting marks that are kind of like 7s and 6.5s, I'm happy with that because sometimes in our 2-star test the trend is slightly more like 6s and 6.5s, and obviously that's not really where we want to be. So now we're just repeating on the other rein, the 15-metre circle into the medium trot, and I got a 6.5 for the medium trot coming up from the judge at C. I'm trying to work out what I got from the judge at E. It's quite hard flicking between the two test sheets. 6.5 as well. That's something I've been really working on, but then because of his little moment at the start of the test, I was worried to push him too much. But if you saw a couple of the examples that I left in my prep vlog for this event, I actually think our mediums are getting there, and that's really, really exciting because that's something I've kind of been stuck on for a couple of seasons. The weird thing is, where this test is so contradictory to Star's test, is that this test felt so much better than it looked, and maybe that's just because it was a lot more uphill than normal, but I came out quite like buzzed with this, whereas you'll see in Star's I have a totally different demeanour. Star's test felt way worse than it looked, and I would have said from a rider's perspective that there could have been like a good 6-7 marks difference in the test, which you'll end up hearing about is not the case at all. I just think that's really interesting. I actually felt this test went quite well because he felt so active and uphill, but actually when you look at it either on the camera or in person, it is a lot more tense. So then we're doing some canter here, which I got a 6.5 from the judge at C and a 7 for the judge at E. And then we're coming into a halt, which I was quite pleased with. I got a 7 from the judge at C from the halt and a 7 for the judge at E. It's nice because again, halt, classic Atti, halt head up, and that's something I've been working on because actually I was thinking about it and it's like, why would you throw away a mark, half a mark every time if you know he's going to sort of chuck his head up in the air? So yeah, we've been working on that. One of the places that we've also been working on that just did not come up here at all is our walk. So our walk marks were not particularly good. I got a 6 from the judge at E and a 6.5 for the judge at C for this free rein long walk because it was just slow. He's not really tracking up. He's not marching forward and stretching down. And again, I would like to have asked for a little bit more, but his little moment before we went in kind of told me, Flo, pick your battles, you know, he's kept it together, don't upset him too much. So it's a shame because usually with Atti I'm not afraid to sort of push and ask for a bit more, but that moment right before the test definitely made me a little bit more of a sensitive rider. And then I felt after I picked him up from the walk into these final movements of trot that like all of the excitement and adrenaline that had been causing him to be quite active and uphill had almost just flown out of his body, and suddenly I felt we were left with a pretty uninspiring trot. But again, we were so close to the end that I almost didn't push it. I got a 7 from both judges for my centre line, and then a 7 for my final halt from the judge at E, and a 6.5 from the judge at C. So overall I was relatively pleased with this test.
Test done then, Dan. Are you going to revise your prediction or stick with
It's
it?
going to be a 31.3.
Ah, having seen it was even better than you thought it might be.
It was a
Okay.
very nice test.
I don't know, maybe. That was mean. I thought it was very on the edge. It was, did you get on camera his little pre-test reverse and spin around? So
Indeed.
it was that on the edge. I thought it was really nice. His trot, like natural trot, was nice. A little bit safer than I'd have liked because I was worried he was going to literally take off. And then after the walk he came a bit lacklustre, but I didn't really have it in me to push him on because we saw what he did before he went in. So I don't know, I can't call it. I thought he looked really nice going around the outside, but that's sometimes a curse, isn't it? Because then they go, oh, what a nice horse. And then he doesn't live up to expectations.
I felt like you could have done with the bell going sooner.
Yeah, he definitely
Got
could
in.
have, and then hence his little meltdown.
Yeah.
But considering how kind of loud and noisy he was, Could have been a lot worse. So let's do Star now. Never a dull moment around here. Always something to do. Right. You both had guesses. What were your final guesses? I don't actually know. What was yours? Oh, so you just not playing ball deliberately?
35.
You're closer. 34.2. Yeah, but it's like 13th out of like 20, so it's...
Okay. Yeah.
The score's alright. It'd be nice to be a little bit higher up, but it is what it is.
Well, it hasn't all finished yet.
That is true. Alright, Star's about to head in for his dressage test, last of the day. What score do you think he's going to get, better or worse than Atti?
I think he's going to go a little bit worse than Atti and get a 37.
Do you? Okay, I'm going to be bold and brave, and I'm going to say he's going to do a little bit better than Atti. So I reckon it's 33. Okay, he's a little bit excited on it as he's coming around there. Okay, time for voiceover number 2, and we had another unfortunate start to our test because he felt really tense trotting around the outside, so I thought, I know, I'll put in the counter transition, that quite often helps. He struck off on the wrong foot, and I thought, well, that's not a very good start, so I managed to get him to strike off on the correct leg, and of course, as soon as that happened, the bell rang, which meant 1, both judges had seen that whole debacle, but 2, I had to start having just asked him to canter and not been able to get the sort of like calming purpose of the canter across, so he was still really tense. I thought it was typical because I trotted around the arena once with Star, and obviously with Atti I had trotted around like way too much, and then with him I could really have done with just another couple of times, like letting him get used to the atmosphere, but alas did not pay off. So anyway, I put in a circle at the bottom of the arena again and came in, and I got a 7 from both judges for our centre line, so I guess that's not bad, but you'll see like from my thoughts throughout this test, I really did not think this test felt nice. I have very high, not expectations, but like high hopes for Star because obviously he has done 2 sub-30s this season. Now this test I knew was astronomically harder than any of those tests, and in that sense I wasn't expecting much, but also it's so like, not frustrating, but like, yeah, I guess frustrating when you've got such a capable, talented horse and you're just not quite there at the moment, and I'm hoping that it's a long-term thing, that it'll come soon. But yeah, it just didn't feel nice. I think it looks a lot nicer than it felt. So I got a 6 from both judges for my medium trot, and again, he has a lovely medium trot coming out in practice, but when I asked him in the warm-up, because of him being a little bit like tense and excitable in the atmosphere, he broke into canter every single time. So it's about picking your battles, isn't it? It's about going, do I ask him to do a really lovely big flashy medium trot, which he'll probably break in and then probably be quite upset. And the same with the canter transition. I got a comment from at least one of the judges, I got 6.5 and a 6, because they said the transition was late. It absolutely was late. That was more of a reflection of the fact that last time I'd asked him to canter just outside the arena, he'd struck off on the wrong foot. So I decided to play it more tactically, like wait until I was in a corner rather than do the transition at the marker like it said, to try and increase the chances of him striking him correctly, because I didn't just like want to upset him, but I knew that the canter work in this test was a little bit more advanced than anything he had done before. I got a 6.5 for my medium canter with the comment that it started nicely but then faded, but then I got 2 7s for the counter canter, and one of the judges said it had a lovely rhythm, so that's good, you know, some positives in there. And then I got a 7 from the judge at E and a 6.5 from the judge at C for this 15-metre circle, which Mum very handily decided not to show. I think she was trying to pan around to show the atmosphere in the background, because what you won't hear, where I've sort of quieted the audio down, is that in the fan zone tent where I gave my talk on Tuesday, they conveniently decided to hold a prize giving, so everyone was like cheering and clapping, and poor Star, like, you talk about a baptism of fire. Again, 6 and 6.5s for those medium trots, same thing, just deciding that today was the day to play it safe, and obviously our leg yields were also weak spots with 2 6s, so you can kind of see all the places we're losing marks. And then I transitioned to canter here. I did do the similar thing, I think, in leaving it slightly late just to make sure we got it right, but I got 2 6.5s for my canter transition. I'm thinking it was maybe slightly less noticeable from that angle. And then I got a 6.5 from both judges for this medium canter with the same comment that it started promising and faded, and that was perhaps representative of the fact that he felt so sort of like excited and tense. Like I said, he felt it a lot more than he looked it, that I was worried that if I left him in medium canter until like the end marker where we were meant to stop, I simply would not get him back in time for the corner. Sorry, I feel like I'm really doing you down in this voiceover. It's only because I know how much potential you have and I really want us to deliver that. But anyway, I got 7s for the 20-metre circle and this canter from the judge at E, and 6.5s from the judge at C. And then what did I get for this halt? Because for us, that halt wasn't too bad. 6.5 from the judge at C and a 6.5 from the judge at E. Similar issue with the walk here, which also reflects the fact that it's kind of a me problem more than the boys problem, but he whinnies here. Again, my audio is muted, otherwise there's just so much wind noise in the background, unfortunately, and he just felt like a little bit tense. So I thought, oh, if I put my leg on and ask you to move forward more, you're going to jog. It was probably not as bad as Atti because he has naturally much nicer paces, I would say. Sorry, Atti. So I think it was 6.5 for my walk work and 6 from the judge at C, but yeah, 6.5 from the judge at E. And actually, again, it reflects interestingly on me that I felt that I lost him a bit at the end here. After the walk, I picked him up and he didn't feel as nice. But again, when you're sat on something that feels really tense and you think, well, great, I have survived this test with no major dramas, considering both of mine sort of threw their teddies out a little bit before we started. Sometimes you just think, I'm going to take it for today and then we're going to just go away and work on it. My centre line, I got a 7 from the judge at E and a 6.5 for the halt, and that was reversed for the judge at C, who gave me a 6.5 for the centre line and a 7 for the halt. But on the whole, I think this experience will have taught him a lot. Obviously, we are headed to Osberton to do the one star at the end of September, and I imagine the atmosphere will be very similar. So this was kind of a good first experience of that, because he hasn't done anything like this in that kind of arena before.
Flo, you'll be pleased he wasn't like this in the dressage arena. He held it together. He held it together in the arena. Oh, I thought he did.
Right, dressage test number 2 done. My firm belief is that Atti will be in the lead by a country mile. I think
You mean in between the two of them?
Yeah, out of the two of them. I think
What, that one looking over the top there?
he just didn't, he was very tense and he wasn't really allowing me to get his leg on without, losing the plot a little bit. So it was kind of a bit like old star, where you'd like have to ride with very little hand and very little leg, and then you can't really do some of those more technical movements. So I think that had been in a 100 test, we might have just about held it together, but I think the combination of the separation anxiety that seems to have just sprouted and grown, and then the fact that it's the hardest test he's ever done by quite a long way, and then the atmosphere, the long arena, the boards, the trade stands, the prize giving, his head just wasn't in it, and it was very, again, it could have been a lot worse than it was, but that's not the test he's got in him. I think that will be close to 40. So, have you guys given your thoughts on scores?
Well, I actually think you're being a bit harsh.
What did you think score-wise?
I said before you went in, I thought it would be 37.
Oh, you were hating even before I went in.
I said before you went in, I thought it would be better than Atti's.
Do you still think that? I don't.
No. No, I didn't. I thought it was worse, but we do know the score.
Oh. I didn't realise you knew the score this whole time. What is
Well, there's
it?
no point in playing the game if we told you we need to score 36.1.
36.1. Okay, do you know what? Give him that test. I thought it would probably be like 38. We'll take it. It's a shame because I think he's got a test in him at that level that's really close to 30. But
Yeah.
it's just not there today.
There's your budgie.
Right, let's dinner time. I'm really keen to watch this course today, so.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, so this is fence number 4. That is fence number 5. They are literally side by side. What's your thoughts on this fence?
The B element is very upright. So
It is.
ride confidently into it. Don't encourage a leg on that one, because otherwise you want to stay balanced over that one to leave yourself prepared to encourage him round to see. You want to have your stick in your right hand to encourage him round that corner, otherwise you might risk going out.
You actually sounded like you knew what you're talking about.
Thank you.
No. Dan just said, where do we go after this? Oh my god.
Well, let's hope it doesn't rain.
Oh, there's not another fence. And then from there to there. Keep going, Flo.
I'm not sure how waterproof you keep going. Oh my god, it's so neat.
Right, we are out walking cross country. First look, we're about 2/3 of the way through, and I have to say, there's some big questions. The fact you have to come down there to pop out here, and you saw how steep that step was. But I did say I wanted a technical track, and they are giving technical, so I feel like I can't complain too much. There's going to be a lot of thinking to do. I don't feel too nervous yet because I haven't show jumped, so we'll see if I get more nervous. And we're pretty much at the end of part 1 of this vlog. If you want to watch the jumping action, you're gonna have to come back for part 2, which will be out only a couple of days after this one, so fear not, it won't be long. But I hope you enjoyed everything you've seen so far. Obviously we're moving on to the fun stuff next.
Can I say something?
You absolutely can.
Don't forget to like and
Oh,
subscribe.
that's a great anything you need to say.
Well, I was just going to look at the 90 and say, look at this, even for the 90, look, you've got a jump over a drop fence and the ground's running away and it's still running. That's quite challenging as well.
Lots of big
But
questions.
it's a championship course. So.
Yeah, we did say we weren't technical, and it is technical.
Yeah.
So come back and see how we fare. Obviously I will leave the rest of the cross country course in so that you can see it. Maybe I'll have put that all first, but yes, see you tomorrow. Bye. That's going at the end of the vlog.